So listen, this trial was viewed by more people than those who actually even saw Johnny Depp's or Amber Heard's feature films. I want to turn now to Dana Kennedy, who's the national writer for the New York Post, and entertainment attorney Domenic Romano. Hi to both of you. Thank you for doing this, you guys. So, Dana, I'm going to start with you on this one. Johnny Depp was the one who wanted cameras in the courtroom, and he wanted this to be seen by everybody. In retrospect, now that we've seen the circus of 6 weeks, that's really smeared both of them in an ugly light, do you think it was the right decision for him if he's just trying to recapture his career, whether he, wins the $50 million or not?
I think it was absolutely a horrible decision on both their parts, for everything, for Amber Heard to poke the bear back in 2018 with that op-ed, and for Johnny Depp, who lost in England, who lost in the UK when he thought he might win for defamation against his son. I think it was a really bad idea, and I think the two of them will be remembered for this trial more than anything in their careers. You can say that Johnny Depp will always be Captain Jack Sparrow, but I don't know. This trial was so sordid, it was so lurid, and it was also basically so unnecessary. These are two, gorgeous, talented, rich people. They didn't need to do this. I asked Johnny Depp's lawyer early on when I was doing some initial reports before the trial happened, did you ever tell your client, maybe even if you think you're totally innocent, to just take one for the team, come to sort of, maybe throw more money at her and just move on? And he said, no, Johnny wants to do this for his children. But having seen this 6 weeks, you think, why would he want his children to see this played out a second time after the UK trial? It was all horrible. Really. I had friends that loved watching it. I didn't.
I found it really uncomfortable. And I have to say, Domenic, that one of the things I found the most uncomfortable about this was the piling on of society to Amber Heard and the vilifying of the woman in this case, when I found plenty of fault on both sides. I found both of these people to be revolting. I found both of their behaviors to be appalling, and yet somehow Johnny has more fans and more believers. Domenic, what do you make of that? You've been in and out of a courtroom all your life. How did this happen?
Look, as far as I'm concerned, they both lost. They lost the minute that he decided to bring this case. And there are going to be no winners, no matter what the jury decides. I couldn't agree more. It was an ill-advised decision. In fact, the only real winners here are probably his legal team, looking a little bit better. But ultimately, the clients have lost. They've both lost. The dirty laundry has been aired in public, and their reputations have been forever tarnished. I agree. They'll probably be remembered for this. This is the celebrity trial, arguably, of our generation. And the decision to allow cameras in the courtroom, I don't see how the people were served here.
Yeah, well, and I'll tell you what, I'll go one more than that, Dana, and that is that if the purpose is to shine light on justice, because it's the best disinfectant, right? Sunlight is the best disinfectant. Then what has this done for the future of domestic violence reporting and domestic violence prosecution for those who feel they might be the next Amber Heard, to be publicly humiliated, vilified and trashed and thrown out?
I would think twice. I don't think it's good for victims of domestic violence at all. I mean, Amber Heard, when you look at what happened with her, the fact that Johnny Depp had this insane social media army, you'd think he actually, bought people. I'm not saying he did, but it was so amazing that he had so many people pushing for him. What I saw is misogyny against Amber Heard, whether or not she is lying through her teeth, was incredible, because those people who hate her, they don't know for sure whether she's telling the truth or not. So I'm like you, Ashley. You're one of the few people that I think sees it the way I did, that they both are pretty tough to watch, and both questionable in their decisions. And I go back to what I wrote like 7 weeks ago. They were sparring with ghosts in that courtroom, his mother and her father. Both very, troubling, difficult parents, and they had to fight their ghosts in court, I think, in some strange Freudian way.
Domenic, I remember during the O.J. trial seeing a headline in Canada from a female writer who said that O.J. Looked so handsome in the courtroom. And I was, a 20-something-year-old reporter at the time, and this was a woman well into her 40s, and maybe we were just a different generation, but I thought, how the hell can you say something about how handsome O.J. Simpson is when Nicole's last look was a bloody tangled horror movie? And I almost wonder if we're still there. You know, there's Johnny Depp. He's handsome and he's swashbuckling and debonair. And there's that stupid pirate ship outside in front of the courthouse. Have we moved on at all in 3 decades?
You know, we'll be shaking our heads at this for years into the future, I expect. And not only that, the decision to actually sue for defamation here, if you're trying to rehabilitate your character, if you're trying to rehabilitate your reputation and bring the lawsuit, then, you know, go up on a stage in London. I think Will Smith has a better chance by lying low and try to, you know, atone for the action at the Oscars than Johnny Depp bringing a big case like this, drawing attention to his alleged addictions, and then going off and performing as if everything is great.
So, Dana, you know, hit that for me, because we showed some video of him up on stage singing and playing guitar with Jeff Beck, and I wondered what the headlines would be if it were Amber Heard up on that stage, dancing around, singing and playing with a band. What would the headlines be and how would they be different?
I think she'd be even more massacred than she has been during these 6 weeks. When I saw the headlines about him up on stage with Jeff Beck and all that, I was just so turned off, because there's a cockiness to him. She may be over the top and histrionic, and she may be telling a lot of lies. To me, she may have lost the whole thing with the reference to the bottle. That, to me, I think she made a big mistake there. Maybe it's true, I don't know. But seeing him be so kind of like, hey, this is the end of that great circus, and, you know, I found it really distasteful. But his fans seem to think he can do no wrong.
And that's the interesting part of this. You know, Domenic, fans are one thing. They'll build a stupid float and parade it past the courthouse, right? And we're talking about a deadly serious issue. This isn't a party. This isn't Mardi Gras. And yet they do that. Jurors are a different animal. And as a lawyer who's been inside a courtroom for many a case, explain to all of us how judges have a strong rein on these jurors. And they do really, you know, guide them through the process. Like, help people understand what it is the judges are doing. What?
I can't see and hear.
You know what? Can we cut Dana's audio, because she can't hear, and I don't know if Domenic can hear me. Okay, sorry about that, Domenic. I'll just ask the question again. Judges are usually pretty darn good at being the guide for the jurors. So while all this craziness is happening outside the courthouse, they're admonished not to look and consume at, you know, any of this media. They don't always do that. But how much will that judge rein them in from the foolishness that's going on outside?
Yeah, well, the jury shouldn't be paying attention at all to what Johnny Depp is doing now, whether he's on stage, whether he's sitting quiet, doing the right thing, lying low until they issue their verdict, what I believe to be the right thing under the circumstances. But at the end of the day, the judge has issued her instructions. She's answered questions about the instructions. She may answer additional questions that the jury has. But the point is, even if he wins this trial, in the larger scheme of things, he's lost the PR battle that he was attempting to win by bringing the case in my view. And because of everything he said, and because
I kind of agree with you. I kind of agree with you. But in the end, when I see the social media war against Amber Heard and the love fest for Johnny Depp, I don't know. I have to leave it there, though. Domenic Romano and Dana Kennedy, thank you. Dana, I'm sorry that you lost the audio there. Domenic had a great answer. We'll have to see it on playback. Thank you both. I appreciate it. Thank you for watching. Click the red subscribe button below so you can get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.